Hello, this is George Dorsey, former Division I athlete, pro athlete, certified health professional, etc., etc. I just want to take a few moments to talk to you about supplementing with creatine and other supplements and how it actually enhances your body's natural ATP phosphocreatine system and how it's used for weight training, exercises that are less than 10 seconds in duration. There's actually 3 different energy systems that your body uses to create energy naturally, but I'm going to take a few minutes just to talk about the first one, and that is the ATP phosphocreatine system. In front of me is I have some fruit. Not that we're going to be eating fruit, but I'm going to show you how to use fruit so you can remember exactly how the ATP-PC system works and how your body creates energy. This particular system, the ATP-PC phosphocreatine system, is used for exercises that are within 10 seconds, or actually from 2 seconds to 10 seconds. When you talk about your sprinting, you talk about resistance training, just those short bursts of movement. Your body actually uses 3 different systems, but I'm only going to talk about one today, and I'll do another video talk about the other 2. I've actually written about these systems in my book, and this is actually creatine. This is about 2 grams of creatine. This is what your body actually naturally holds, and 95% of that is held or stored within your natural muscle fibers. It's also stored in your brain, your eyes, your liver, etc. Those are the main places. But 95% of this 2 grams, and again, this is if somebody's not supplementing on creatine, this is about what your body naturally holds. 95% of this in muscle fibers. So anyway, and then this candle here actually represents energy. So I'm going to show you how all of these, and then also don't forget the water. This is for hydrolysis. So I'm going to talk to you about how all of these things fit into how your body creates ATP naturally, and how creatine or supplementing with creatine actually enhances that particular system. And so this is stored energy, right? This doesn't use carbohydrates. This doesn't use oxygen. It's an anaerobic process. It doesn't use fats. It uses ATP and then creatine. So I'm going to talk about again how creatine or supplementing with creatine actually enhances this process through a process called hydrolysis. And I'm going to use this water bottle to represent H2O, because it is H2O. And through a process called hydrolysis, I'm actually going to, I'm going to separate this phosphate here. So now what I have is adenosine diphosphate for 2 phosphates, right? So when I use hydrolysis, H2O, to break this other phosphate off, guess what happens here? I'm going to show you. Boom. You get energy. If you can see that, right? You actually, let me slide this down a little bit. You actually get energy. So just to recap, that's a candle. Smells good, by the way. So just to recap, in order to get energy, I start out with adenosine triphosphate, hydrolysis. I break this phosphate off, and then boom, I get energy. So once this energy and this phosphate breaks off, so now I have, this is creatine, right? This is about half a teaspoon. This equates to about 2 grams. So if you're not supplementing with creatine, your body only stores about this much of creatine, which is about half a teaspoon or 2 grams of creatine. When you're supplementing with creatine, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Obviously, it's going to be more. But again, this is pretty much all that your body stores. And when people say it's 95% stored in your muscle fibers, that's what they're talking about. The goal right now is to turn this energy back into ATP or stored energy. So now I've got creatine we'll just use this, right? Because this broke off. So now we got creatine phosphate. I'm gonna move this over here to the side. So now we've got creatine phosphate. So now I need to somehow bring this back over here so I have creatine, or I'm sorry, adenosine triphosphate, right? I'm trying to add this phosphate here back over here to where it's stored. So I have creatine phosphate, right? So now I'm gonna use an enzyme. My body's gonna use an enzyme called creatine kinase. Anytime you see something that ends with an ASE, and when we talk about exercise physiology, it's an enzyme. It's to break down. It's a part of the catabolic state, right? So again, I'm going to use creatine kinase to break this out and to separate this creatine, right, from this phosphate. Use creatine kinase to break this out, and then to add this phosphate back over here, I'm going to use ATP-ASE or ATP-ASE, ASE. And using that enzyme actually brings this back to adenosine triphosphate or ATP. But your body needs to repeat this process in order to, again, go through the next movement, right? Again, the next short burst of movement. So you sprint, and then you rest a minute or so, and then you want to sprint again. It's going to replicate and do this process all over again. Remember I said that your body only stores about 2 grams of creatine? When you actually supplement with creatine correctly, your body actually can replicate this process more quickly and more frequently, giving you more energy. So if I go through the actual supplementation protocols for creatine, I can actually replicate this process a lot faster and a lot longer than someone who doesn't supplement with creatine. Creatine has been around since 1832. That's when it was actually founded by a guy by the name of Michel Eugene Chevreul. Again, 1832. No, I haven't been taking it since 1832, but you get the idea. It's been around. It's been well studied. There's a lot of research that supports creatine and the use for creatine, especially when you get older. A lot of people think, oh, well, you know, this is for younger people. Actually, it's not. It's actually, I used it when I was younger, but as I get older, I find even more benefit from using or supplementing with creatine. And I'll talk about some of those benefits as well. Research has also shown that creatine helps to increase bone density. It actually helps to minimize the natural process of sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle wasting or muscle loss and strength loss as well. Good news for vegans. Research has shown that vegans actually respond better to creatine supplementation when it comes to memory performance or mental performance. Why is that? Because vegans tend to not get a lot of creatine because creatine is actually derived from meat, especially fish. And because vegans may not eat meat, well, don't eat meat, and because vegans don't eat meat, they actually benefit better from creatine supplementation. And again, creatine is made up of amino acids. So it doesn't matter whether you're a meat eater or a vegan, it's just amino acids, right? People get very confused as to the differences and don't understand the differences either. There's also other good news in the fact that creatine supplementation does not cause liver damage, kidney damage. There's absolutely no research, no information out there whatsoever that talks about supplementing with creatine causes any sort of harm. A lot of stuff out there, and there's a lot of unfounded claims about certain ingredients and certain things. but creatine has been well researched, well documented. Again, it's not a new kid on the block. It's been around for, well, since 1830 or 1832 to be specific. Creatine is actually naturally occurring. It's not a steroid, it's not a chemical or anything like that. It is actually derived from 3 amino acids, which are methionine, glycine, and arginine. I actually watched a video on YouTube from a doctor, and she can only name 2 amino acids that create or involved in the creation of creatine. A little scary, but anyway, again, these 3 amino acids are essential amino acids, meaning that your body can't create these amino acids. They actually have to be consumed. So